Drew Tranquil is officially back. The L'Jarius Sneed trade rumors are heating up, and it finally happened. Chris Jones will be a Kansas City Chief for life. Now with that, let's cut the chit chat and let's have some fun. It is finally here. Tomorrow, the NFL free agent period officially begins. Actually, scratch that, because when this video airs, the tampering period is officially open. Now, what does that mean? Because a lot of people see March 13th and like, that's when the free agent period begins. And for anyone who doesn't understand what the tampering period may be, it's when every unrestricted free agent has the rights to talk to any 32 NFL teams and strike a deal. But that deal will not become official till Wednesday, March 13th. So all these free agents, they get to go out and have fun. But Brett Veach and the Kansas City Chiefs, they've been busy this week. So let's dive into some of that action. And the first thing on the agenda is Drew Tranquil is back. Signed, sealed, and delivered. As earlier in the week, he signed a 3-year deal worth up to $19 million, which is a little less than $6 million a year. It's a beautiful contract. I really, really love this contract. I welcome Drew Tranquil back. And if y'all remember, Drew Tranquil was always my linebacker that I wanted to bring back. There's no discredit to what Willie Gay has brought to the team, but what Drew Tranquil did for this defense last year was second to none. He was the guy you were like, I can't just have 1 year on this defense. I need to keep seeing him year in and year out. And that's what Brett Veach and the Kansas City Chiefs did, signing a 3-year deal. Now, where does it leave the lights for Willie Gay? To me, I always felt like Willie Gay was the odd man out. Unfortunately, Willie Gay will get paid, rightfully so, by a different team, which I think the Kansas City Chiefs may be interested, but I think Willie Gay will price himself out. I don't think Willie Gay will be expensive. What I'm saying is, I believe the Kansas City Chiefs love the linebackers they have now with Nick Bolton, Drew Tranquil, and Leo Chenal. It's going to be Leo Chenal's time to shine in 2024. We saw huge glimpses of what Steve Spagnuolo can do with a guy like Leo Chenal in the Super Bowl. Now be excited for the next 18 weeks of 2024 with Leo Chenal, because he's going to be one of those most underrated guys where Chiefs Kingdom is going to be cheering for, and they're going to be wanting him to be a Chief for life. Now let's get into another hot topic regarding the Kansas City Chiefs. And besides one guy, it's been focused mostly on cornerback L'Jarius Sneed. As of last week, the Kansas City Chiefs tagged L'Jarius Sneed, but reports coming out saying don't anticipate L'Jarius Sneed to play on the tag. Whether that be the Kansas City Chiefs extending L'Jarius Sneed to a long-term deal or they trading him away. Well, we got all the trade rumors here regarding L'Jarius Sneed, and it's that 7 teams are interested in L'Jarius Sneed. And it makes me feel like, man, next week, L'Jarius Sneed may not be a Kansas City Chief. But what can the Chiefs expect in a trade package? Now, some reporters have mentioned that L'Jarius Sneed can be traded for as high as a first-round pick, which kind of caught me by surprise, because when I looked at a L'Jarius Sneed trade package, I thought the highest he could go for is a second-round pick. But if the Chiefs can get a first-round pick, and they can have 2 first-round picks in this 2024 NFL draft, that gives them so much ammo to do whatever, whenever they want in the draft and go for their player they want. A lot of fans are highlighting that wide receiver position, they're highlighting the O-line. And if the Chiefs somehow, some way want to trade up into the top 15, 2 first-round picks will give you that wiggle room to get to where you need. Now, I don't think the Kansas City Chiefs will garner that for L'Jarius Sneed. I think they can get a second-round pick and maybe a late-round pick out of it as well. There's so many different scenarios you can see happen with a trade package with L'Jarius Sneed, but I think that's the right value. But shoot, if they walk away with a first-round pick, I will be ecstatic. But also, if somehow, some way the Chiefs can extend him, that would be great. But personally, I feel like L'Jarius Sneed's days are numbered as a Kansas City Chief. Now let's get to the real reason why we are here. It feels like it's been a century in the making, but it's only been a couple years, and it's that the Kansas City Chiefs and Chris Jones have officially agreed on a 5-year deal worth near $160 million $95 million is guaranteed. Whew, that's big money for a big dude in Stone Cold Jones. All I gotta say is, it's worth it. I don't want to hear the hoopla, the back and forth of people saying, this is an aging defensive tackle in his 30s. The Chiefs are going to regret that contract. At the end of the day, you needed to pay that dude. And I'm happy the Chiefs finally did it, because there was this label going on to Clark Hunt, onto Brett Veach, and onto the Kansas City Chiefs, to where they don't like to pay their players the big bucks. Well, they just did. And I am so happy and ecstatic for it. Because as I mentioned throughout the whole season, Patrick Mahomes is your leader on the offense. Actually the leader of the whole team. But you need that leader on the defense, and it is Chris Jones. We've seen what Chris Jones has done in the Super Bowl last year. We've seen what he did in the playoffs against the Bengals last year. He is literally a difference maker, and you need to pay your difference maker. And specifically on the defensive side of the ball, the Chiefs are no way, no how going to lose two of their superstars this free agent period. It just was not going to happen. So you can miss me with Chris Jones is 30. He is aging. At the end of the day, pay close attention to the position and around the league. Defensive pass rushers age like fine wine. There are so many in this league that are literally 34, 35, 36, and still racking up near double-digit sacks. And Chris Jones just isn't that either. He draws the attention of every offensive lineman, and he still has a great pass rush rate, and he will get after the quarterback, and he will get after the running back too, which makes everyone around him better. This was a no shit. He needed to be signed. You could not let him go into tomorrow and start talking to other teams. I am so happy that Brett Veach finally pulled the trigger on a long-term contract with Chris Jones, because it was needed. Is it big money? Yes. Couldn't the Chiefs regret it? It depends on what your perspective is really around it. Because usually when you see a big contract like this, the player usually doesn't live up to that. But man, what Chris Jones has done for this team, and what I believe he will do, I think garners to where that contract will lie. I still think he still has a lot of good years ahead of him. He is nowhere near at the end of the road, and I think that's what solidified Brett Veach and Clark Hunt to say, hey, we need this dude. And that's the right decision moving forward. So like I said, you can miss me with saying he's an aging pass rusher. Hey, I love me an aging pass rusher. They can still get after the quarterback, and he needed to be on this team because he's a difference maker. We've seen it in the Super Bowl, as I mentioned. I know earlier on in the regular season, I said, man, I would really love Sneed, and I may even pursue him over Chris Jones. But man, as much as I love Chris Jones, he made me raise it to that next level in the playoffs. And I saw a beautiful tweet, and I forgot who it was from, but they valued the positions for what they were and what the player does at that position. And it was in a spotlight of viewing Sneed and Chris Jones, where a lockdown cornerback takes one guy away. A lockdown pass rusher destroys the whole play. The Kansas City Chiefs signed the right player. Now, I'm not saying they can't get something done with Sneed, but their focus the whole time should have been on Chris Jones, and I'm happy they got it done. Now let's jump into the free agency rumor mill. As you guys heard me last week, I highlighted Darnell Mooney, the wide receiver out of Chicago, and how the Kansas City Chiefs can be interested in him. Well, let's switch positions, but let's stay on the offensive side of the ball, and let's highlight another player. We're going into the running back room, and we're going to highlight Austin Ekeler. Rumors have been swirling heavy that the Kansas City Chiefs may be interested in Austin Ekeler this free agents period. And honestly, I kind of would really like that. I know he had a really down year compared to what he's done throughout his whole career. But if somehow, some way, the Kansas City Chiefs can't retain a Jerick McKinnon or a Clyde Edwards-Helaire, I think Austin Ekeler would be a great fill-in, or if not, an upgrade. And I know I'm going to get the fan base saying, no, you got to go for Jerick McKinnon. Clyde Edwards-Helaire had a really great back end of the year. I agree with all that. But at the end of the day, specifically in the Jerick McKinnon point of view, he is an aging running back, unfortunately, and he wasn't as involved in 2023 as he was in 2022. So I don't think the Kansas City Chiefs will retain him. And you do need to have bodies in the running back room because we've seen it time in and time out. That room can consistently take injuries with all three guys, whoever is touching the rock. So you need to have talent back there. And I think Austin Ekeler would be the perfect fit. And one thing Austin Ekeler really excelled well with the San Diego Chargers. Look at me going back to the late 2010s. But with the Los Angeles Chargers is he is a great receiving back. And when we know Mahomes has to do the improvising, and be that special player in himself, he's got to find the underneath guy. And I think that's where Austin Ekeler can really shine in this offense. As I said, time in and time out with Jerick McKinnon. Everyone liked to label Travis Kelce as Mahomes' security blanket. Rightfully so. But if you had to choose a next man up, specifically even in 2022, I would say Jerick McKinnon was a security blanket as well. Mahomes really depends on his running backs in the receiving game. Austin Ekeler, he can be another security blanket. So let's see how that all shakes out. But I would definitely welcome Austin Ekeler to this team. With that, Chiefs Kingdom, I'm going to cut this video short. We got Stone Cold Chris Jones as a Chief for life. You let me know some of the news and highlights throughout the last week that you thought caught your eye in the comments down below. With that, please be sure you do subscribe to the channel. If you did like this video, please leave that big thumbs up. I'm checking out. Y'all take care.